The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Johners Live, part of the Johners Podcasting Network. Of course, got a fantastic guest this week, none other than former Progress Wrestling Women's Champion, Kanji. So Kanji, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to have you on the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. No, I'm doing great, thank you. So thank you for having me.
No, you're very, very welcome. And as I mentioned off air, it's been a lot of fan questions that have been sent in so far that will sprinkle in throughout this live episode and plenty more towards the end. So if you have sent a question in, please watch the whole interview and I'm sure that we'll get to your question eventually. But if you're watching live at home, on YouTube, Facebook Live or Twitch, please send us in your questions for Kanji and we'll do our very best to answer every single question live on air as this interview progresses. But Kanji, got to start with a bit of a hot topic. You've been out for a few months now with an injury. All of your fans, wrestling fans in general, were eagerly awaiting your anticipated return. But I got to ask you, how is the injury? How is your recovery going at the moment?
It's not going too bad at the moment. I had a really rough start, obviously, because it was this second time I've injured this arm in a severe way as well. So it was really tough to start with because it happened in May because it was done during like tapings and things like that.
Is that the scar there?
Yeah. That was because when I first injured it in 2019, that was the scar from then. But this time they had to cut in the other side again because I've got the scar this side and this side. So they had to re-enter through the other side this time.
Ouch.
Yeah, so it's only been since the end of this year really where I felt like I'm actually getting somewhere. Because all up to this point it just felt like I was taking one step forward and two steps back all the time. So it's been a massive struggle, and mentally it's been worse this time. But I think I'm on an okay path right now.
Good. Well, fingers crossed. And like I say, without letting the cat out of the bag, are we likely to see you back in the ring sometime soon? Maybe. And you know, I mean, where's your confidence level, and kind of where is your fitness? And you know, what's your kind of inkling on how soon we might see you back in the ring?
I'm hoping it's soon, but I've not put a time limit on it just because I don't want to come back too soon. I don't want to rush it and then be out again. And the advice that everyone's been giving me is don't rush it. So I feel like I have a time in my head that I think I'll be ready for this moment. But whether I will be, I have no idea. But I think right now it's just a massive thing is just a confidence thing. Like I've got very low confidence with everything I do. So that's the biggest struggle right now. I'm really struggling with. It's really tough.
Yeah, I'm sure the more you get in the ring, the more you kind of concentrate on your training and knocking off the ring rust, and that confidence, I'm sure, will come back in spades. But I've got to talk to you about 2021 and what a fantastic year it was for you. In particular, I've got to start with your journey in Progress, of course. And you made your debut, I think it was probably February last year. So getting on close to a year now in the very first Progress Women's Thunder Bastard match, like a gauntlet match, wasn't it? And you had some amazing names there. What that match kind of demonstrated to a lot of wrestling fans was this is kind of the new generation of women that you're going to be seeing in Progress going forward. And it was a great match. Obviously, there was the angle with yourself and Gisele and the lead pipe, which became a bit of a feature in your feud with Gisele. But you managed to outlast everybody. You beat Mercedes, yourself and Mercedes at the final two. A great debut. That must have been a thrill to be part of that match. first of all, can I ask you, how did you get involved with Progress? Who approached who, and how did that journey start?
I think it was the year before. So it would have been 2020, towards the end, and I got a call from I think she does like the safeguarding and things like that, and she got in touch, and I didn't think it was real. I genuinely thought, oh, someone's having me on here, but it was a message just to say they wanted to talk about getting me on Progress. So I kind of was just like low key with it because I didn't really believe it. But then it progressed, but I wasn't ready at that point. They wanted to start it up.
Yeah.
So I just said I'm not ready for that day because I was still recovering from the injury then. Because it was before October,
right.
And I didn't actually come back until October that year because I had a whole year off. But then obviously they delayed the comeback till later on in the year.
Yeah.
By the time then I was ready, and then it all started to come together, and more emails were being sent over, and I thought, damn, this is actually real. Like this is going to happen. But it wasn't until I got into it wasn't until I actually got into the theatre and I saw the Progress signs up, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. Like it was real after all this time. It's the real deal. Like this is it.
Absolutely. And I mentioned the Thunder Bastard match. Great way to make your debut. Give us your thoughts, kind of thinking back to that match, and like I say, you outlasted the other fantastic talent that was in that ring. What are your memories of that debut for you?
I was so nervous. I mean, all of us were, but the atmosphere and the environment backstage within the women that were on the show was amazing. Everyone was just so supportive of each other. And we were all nervous, and we just wanted to do well for ourselves and for the history of the women that were that created this women's division, and to bring in this new era of Progress as well. So we was all supporting of each other. So the pressure was on for us to do really well. And because you don't see many, this was obviously the first women's Thunder Bastard as well.
Absolutely.
So we had that riding on us as well. But it was amazing to just be all together as like a group of strong women who just wanted well and help each other, and have a great start to this new era of Progress. It was amazing. So once it had finished and we all came backstage, and we was all just like gushing over each other and just like telling everyone, oh my gosh, you were so good. You were so good. Well done, everybody. Yay.
Yeah.
So it was just a really good time to be around. Really good time.
And of course, when it aired on the WWE Network, which is huge, it was the first Progress, with no fans, of course. It was chapter 2 at 105, wasn't it? And you and the girls main evented that first that return show, and you like I say, managed to go over in that main event. Fantastic. But then that earned you a number one contenders spot, didn't it, for the women's championship that was held by Ginny at the time. She then vacated the championship. I think Gisele was also the number one contender from the previous year, and I think that was the spark that started the 3-match series, wasn't it, between yourself and Gisele? I think it was episode chapter 109, 110, and 111, where you had them 3 fantastic matches. As I said to you off air, a real good, true underdog story, a true underdog babyface story. And, if anybody hasn't watched those 3 matches, Kanji versus Gisele Shaw, the best of 3 series, it really was fantastic. You don't need to kind of go into too much detail regarding them 3 matches, but collectively, that was an amazing story. 3 great matches, 3 very different matches as well, and a massive highlight for yourself, and I'm guessing Gisele as well. Like I say, another amazing competitor. Can you sum up them 3 matches and your rivalry in the best of 3 with Gisele?
I think it's one of my. It's definitely the 3 matches. In fact, not even just the 3 matches. The whole story I had with Gisele at Progress has been one of the top highlights of my whole wrestling career so far, and I think it will be forever, really, because I'd never wrestled Gisele ever before. The first time we actually stepped in the ring was the first match we had after the Thunder Bastard. And I think it was just instantly then we had this connection and this chemistry in the ring, which is rare. It's not often that happens. And I think there's only a handful of people I'd say I had instant chemistry with as soon as we stepped into the ring. And to see how much of a great competitor Gisele is and how much she's done for not just British wrestling, but women's wrestling in general.
Yeah.
It's something very special that I hold close to my heart, that, you know, we did so well, not just for ourselves, but I mean, the feedback we got from not just audience, but the feedback that we got from management at Progress and other wrestlers who are on the show, and wrestlers that aren't even on the show, that aren't even in Progress. The feedback we got just from everywhere was really overwhelming, and we did not expect it to go so well. I mean, we expect it. We worked so hard and we put so much effort into making it the best we could. But the response we got was something that we'd never thought we would hear, to be fair.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. The chemistry the two of you had in that ring. Obviously, you had a match outside of the best of 3 series after the Thunder Bastard. Then you had the 3 matches.
Yeah.
The chemistry between the two of you was just off the charts, to be honest with you. And like I say, Gisele is just such a fantastically smooth worker in the ring, such a fantastic character, and yourself, that underdog spirit, that fighting spirit. And it just clicked, didn't it? It was absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, you were the Progress Women's Champion. I mean, that championship, you know, it's in high esteem, isn't it? Your previous champions, you got Ginny, Mako Satomura, Toni Storm, Jordan Grace, yourself, and now, of course, Gisele Shaw, to be added into that list of esteemed champions. You must want to kind of pinch yourself when you kind of think about that.
Yeah, I always remind myself, like, when whenever I talk about it, I always say, "Oh, so and so's hold the belt." It's like just a name drop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because just to put it in concrete, not just for me but for everybody else, of how much of a big deal this is. That it's not just a piece of metal around your waist. Like, this stands for something so much more. And I think with what me and Gisele created in the ring and the story we put across, not just for the best of 3, but for each match individually had a story that we told. And then overall with all 3 of them together, there was a complete different story being told that we even went put into something quite personal. I think that puts how important and how prestigious that belt really is, and we wanted to do that justice. We wanted to carry on and, you know, create a legacy and continue the legacy of that championship belt. And I think
100%.
we did it. I really think we did it.
You did, and you did it under difficult circumstances, you know, during a pandemic, during lockdown, no fans. But I can just imagine how crazy some of the matches would have been with fans. It's just mind blowing. And to think that you created that atmosphere, you know, it was the Peckham Theatre, wasn't it? You created that atmosphere with no fans and created that storyline. I mean, I think every professional wrestler in the UK or you know, around the world has to take their hat off to what you yourself and Gisele did during that series and did during that program. It was absolutely fantastic. But you did manage to defend your championship on a few occasions against Mercedes Blade, Laura Di Matteo. You had a triple threat match against Gisele and Laura in your final defense. It was a short reign. Obviously, we know that an injury kind of came in and stopped it from being an even longer and more successful reign. But if you had to sum up the time during your Progress Championship reign, how would you sum it up? Like I say, it must have been a very special occasion for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the women that we have in the division, it was amazing to be seen as a champion amongst those women. Not like there's a hierarchy in the locker room, because there isn't. We all see each other as sisters, and we all see each other as, you know, we all need help, and we all need support, and we all appreciate support and help, and that's how we kind of see it there. But to be seen as because all the girls kept saying, you know, you really deserve it, and well, either one of us really deserved it, and to see how hard we worked for it, and for me to stand victorious in that moment, and coming backstage and just seeing how supportive all the girls were, and then to obviously continue to come back as champion and then wrestle and defend it with the likes of Mercedes and Laura, that is special, because it gave those matches more meaning. Like it gave it more of a purpose rather than just a match. And I think Laura Di Matteo is fantastic, and I really think Mercedes Blaze is fantastic. I think they've both got so much to offer, and it just gave us more of a purpose for a match and do more to remember, I think. So yeah, I really loved it, my time as champion.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we continue, we need to throw a quick shout out to our sponsor, if that's okay, 1310 Apparel, the fantastic sponsor of the Wrestling with Johners podcast and the Johners podcasting network, of course. And if you go over to their Wrestle Merch Central store, you can see their fantastic hardcore line there, their lucha line, and of course their more traditional 1310 and Four Corners line. They do sponsor some fantastic athletes and wrestlers from around the UK, including Heidi Katrina and Northwest Strong's Chris Ridgeway, of course. And of course, if you visit their Big Cartel store or their Wrestle Merch Central store, you can see the exclusive Heidi Katrina t-shirt there. And listeners and viewers of the Wrestling with Johners podcast can get 10%, can take advantage of our agreement with 1310 Apparel and get 10% off at checkout. Just visit their store at 1310.merch.global. That's their Wrestle Merch Central store, and type in the discount code 1310WMC at checkout to take advantage of our fantastic deal. So Kanji, back over to us. But before I continue, I've got one person that's been in touch already, and that is 1310 Apparel. And they said, what's Kanji's favourite piece of merch? Well, I'm sure you'd like to answer that one.
Oh, I will. Honestly, I would 100% hands down. I know it's coming from 1310. So it's probably, we all know what you're going to say. But no, honestly, I bought the Northwest Strong jacket, and it is amazing. Like, I love it. I wear it all the time. Like, I wear it at work, and people just think. Someone actually asked me at work the other day and said, "Is that just a sports hoodie? I didn't. Are you into sports?" And so I had to give him the whole story of, it's my my favorite tag team, my favorite wrestling tag teams merch. And explained obviously like who they were and where they're from and everything. But that is honestly it is my favorite piece of merch I own.
That's really awesome, and I'm sure Josh is watching this. But I got to go ask you. You mentioned kind of work, and what are your colleagues and what are your friends outside of wrestling that probably don't really follow wrestling? What do they think of you as a professional wrestler? Do you show them any kind of like highlight reels or any of your matches, or what do they think when you say you're a professional wrestler?
I I always get the same response. It's always, you don't look like a wrestler. Because I think they just automatically assume that a professional wrestler is a tall, big guy, or a tall, really strong-looking woman. And obviously, I'm none of those things. But I think it's like when I'm in my wrestling gear, and I'm in a wrestling ring, then you get it, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think if I'm just in my normal clothes and, you know, I haven't got a gym pump on, people just think I'm just a small, quiet person.
Couldn't be further from the truth, hey? Couldn't be further from the truth, especially when you're all geared up and ready to go.
I
But
hope I come across like that.
oh, 100%, 100%. And I'm sure you're aware, Progress makes its return at the Electric Ballroom this coming Sunday, the 23rd of January, in front of fans for the first time in nearly 2 years. And I'll be there in Camden. I cannot wait. It's been a long time since I've seen a Progress show. But obviously, you're not going to be performing on this show, but we've had a few fans reach out regarding Progress being back in front of fans. Let me just bring up their question here. So firstly, from an Ashley Clements, he says, "Hi Kanji, I really enjoyed your series of matches with Gisele Shaw in the No Fans Progress shows. Would you want a rematch with her in front of Progress fans to regain your women's title?" I've got a very similar question, so it's like a 2-in-1 question from Darren via Facebook. Will you return to Progress from your injury anytime soon? And if so, will you be looking to regain the Women's Championship once again? So a lot of fans kind of reaching out, very, very interested and intrigued about a possible return. Like say, chasing after the Women's Championship again, and a possible rematch in front of fans with Gisele.
Yeah, I think, I mean, when I got injured, I was absolutely gutted because I was really looking forward to wrestling Gisele in front of a live audience. I think as fans, because obviously we're all fans of wrestling, and when you go and watch a live wrestling show, it brings you so much joy, and it's like you're living it anyway as an audience when you're watching it live. But also as a wrestler, when you're wrestling in front of an audience, you feel that same joy and happiness. And it's so different when you're wrestling with no fans there. It's crazy how much the fans bring to wrestling. It's so crazy. They mean so much, and the atmosphere they create and the meaning and the purpose they bring to a wrestling match makes it so much more different. And it's just something that me and Gisele really wanted to do. We wanted to take our feud, or take a piece of what we did in those tapings and put it with a live audience, just so we can feel the energy of the audience, and the audience can feel our energy too in person. So I was so gutted when I got injured, and I couldn't offer her that rematch in front of a live audience. So obviously, with the thoughts of coming back soon, hopefully, if she still has it. But I think even if, you know, whatever happens in the near future, whatever happens, I think I would absolutely love to finally have a match with her in front of an audience.
Well, there's a ready-made story there, isn't it? It's a ready-made story, and it's ready to go. It's ready to go.
Yeah. And in my head, I'm thinking, she has this title, but she never won it off me.
You never lost it.
Yeah. So
you never lost it.
If you want to be a true champion, you kind of have to fight me, right?
Got to put her money where her mouth is. Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, this coming Sunday, I mentioned earlier, but you've got the final of the Revelations tournament, and Mercedes Blaze against Rio. Exactly. The winner of that will face Gisele in Manchester in February.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it's going to be a fantastic couple of shows there for Progress. But just one final thing on your feud with Gisele, and that's this. Appearing on WWE's The Bump and it was to promote chapter 111, your third and final match against Gisele, to crown the new Progress Wrestling Women's Champion. And that was a ton of fun, wasn't it? And I watched the bump back, that particular one. It was their special 100th episode. There was yourself and Gisele front and center. And you two were fiery. You two were going at one another. I'm not sure if the American hosts knew how to kind of react to the two of you when you were on screen, to be honest with you. I mean, Gisele was fiery. And like I say, you cut some awesome promos on her as well. But tell us about that experience, because, you know, it must have been pretty special to have been on The Bump. It's a very, very popular show. Gets seen by tens of thousands of people every single week. And it's a WWE product, of course. So that made it even more special. But tell us about that.
It was so special. I think mainly because I'm not sure if we were, but I think we were the first independent wrestling company who's not with in the WWE to go on The Bump. So for Progress to pick us to do it, like, that was crazy, because we just kept saying, we was like, you've got Cara Noir at Progress. You have like the likes of Ridgeway and Dan Maloney, and you pick us. Like, that is insane. That's amazing. So we was like, this is a big deal. Like, we have to absolutely kill this. And we were so excited, and because we was representing Progress. We was representing British women's wrestling. Not even just women's wrestling. We was representing the British independent scene. So we wanted to do it justice. So we were like so serious. We were like, we're going to do this and we're going to kill it. So yeah, as soon as we got on, it was quite surreal. Like, this is happening. This is it. So we're waiting to go live, and we're like, whoa, what is going on?
Were there nerves? I mean, was there anticipation before you went live?
Yeah, because Gisele called me, like, she FaceTimed me before we went on. And she was like, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I was like, it's going to be fine. We'll just focus on each other, like we have been doing, obviously, with the story. And I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be completely fine. We'll just have fun with it. So once it was done, it was like, whoa, that happened. She called me straight away after. I was like, that was crazy. It was amazing.
Oh, the two of you killed it. You two of you absolutely smashed it. But and I bet your socials went berserk after appearing on The Bump as well. I bet you were kind of getting people reaching out to you from all over the world, friends reaching out to you. But I bet your socials went absolutely mental after that.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, Gisele's very popular on social media anyway. So with her interactions on there and linked with me, it was going mental. I was over the moon with it. I'm so happy with how it went. And I'm so happy Gisele came in so strong. How she came in straight cutting a promo about her being so superior. I was like, you are amazing. Like,
she was vicious.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to react.
I saw a little smile on your face as if to say, yeah, this is really happening.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so fun.
Let's take it all the way back, if we can, then, Kanji. And when were you first introduced to this wonderful sport that we all love, professional wrestling? What was your kind of earliest memories of becoming a wrestling fan then?
I watched it. My dad and my granddad used to watch it when we were younger. So growing up, they used to always watch it all the time on TV. We used to always watch the repeats as well. So we kind of just grew up around it being on TV. And then once we got a bit older, maybe about 6 or 7, that's when we started play fighting, because we were enjoying what we were seeing on TV. So we've always been around it, really. So it was really my dad and my granddad that got us into it. And then I think the earliest thing I can remember is, because I'm really hooked on storylines, and I think that's why I remember them from back then. And it was the storylines like all the storylines like DX did, really. And then you had the Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero storyline, the fight for Dominic. That was a huge thing that me and my brother were really into. Like, we were emotionally invested in that storyline, because we really thought Eddie Guerrero is this real bad guy. Like, if he wins this match and gets Dominic as his son, then he's going to send Dominic into this like life of crime.
Yeah.
Like, we were really invested in that. And the storyline with Trish and Lita, and Edge and Lita with Matt Hardy. Yeah. Oh gosh, that got me. That one did. Like, I was really in love with Matt Hardy. So when it was like Lita's cheating on Matt with Edge, I was like, no, I'm not having that. But yeah, it was always storylines with me.
No, that's great. And you mentioned Matt Hardy there and Rey Mysterio, obviously two of your favorites growing up. And were there other wrestlers, other heroes of yours that kind of really pulled you in and captivated you as a fan?
Shawn Michaels was my all-time favorite. I don't know what it was. I think now when I think back to it, I think it definitely was his charisma, and his just, because he was just so effortless with everything he did. I think it was that. But growing up, when everyone used to say, who's your favorite wrestler? I said Shawn Michaels. They always just, why is it Shawn Michaels? Why isn't it like Rey Mysterio? Because he could do the cool flips and things like that. Or the Undertaker was one of my favorites as well. But whenever your all-time favorite was always Shawn Michaels. But looking back on it now, I definitely think it was just because he's so capturing. As soon as you see him, that's it. Yeah. You can't take your eyes off the TV.
100%.
Yeah, he's definitely, even still now, I'm like, he is the best.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we're getting close to Royal Rumble season. I know this year's Rumble is this 2 weekends time, two Saturdays time, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. But what was it that finally kind of inspired you to start training yourself? And when did you start training? Tell us about that journey.
I didn't know you could be a wrestler in the UK. I wasn't aware of an independent scene or anything. I'd seen posters around for like camp shows, but I didn't think that was real wrestling. It's strange, but I was never aware of an independent scene or anything. I just thought, if you want to be a wrestler, you got to go to America and be on the WWE. I was quite ignorant, I think, in that sense. But then I was watching Total Divas, and Paige was on there.
Yeah.
And then it just clicked to me, like, Paige is British. She must have trained somewhere because she was so young. So I did a quick Google search on Paige and found she trained in Norwich. So I was like, that's it. We got to move to Norwich. We're moving to Norwich so we can train to be a wrestler. But then I thought, if there's a school in Norwich, surely there's other schools. And then luckily I found House of Pain in Nottingham. I was like, that is so ideal. It's literally in my town. But that time I was doing my uni degree. So I thought, I'll finish uni and then I'll start. And I messaged the head trainer, which is Stixx, during my uni course, and just asked about like open days and things. And I said, can I come to an open day when I finish uni? And he was like, you can come whenever you like, just come to a beginner's class. And I was like, I want to come to an open day. So as soon as I finished uni that September, I went to the next open day, which was the December 2016. And I just went in there on my own. My mum dropped me off outside. I just walked in on my own. And that's the closest, that's the first time I've been seen a wrestling ring in real life.
Right.
And I was so close to it. And Stixx was sat on the edge of the ring in a vest top, and he's massive. So I was like, wow, like this is it. And there was just guys all sat on the floor listening to him talk. And I was thinking I was like maybe one of two girls in the class. But yeah, that was my first taste of the wrestling world.
And what sort of a trainee were you? Did you, obviously you was enthralled by the world of wrestling, a big fan, taking your big brave steps through them doors to start your training. But did you pick it up quickly? And obviously you enjoyed it, but you wasn't put off by any of the bumps or hitting the ropes. What sort of a trainee were you?
No, I was very eager to do well. And to take on feedback and get used to it. But I remember taking my first bump off the crash mat and I had a headache for a week.
Ooh.
For a whole week, I had a headache. So I was like, surely people get used to this. Like, it's just something my body needs to get used to, because people taking hundreds of bumps. And I was like, they can't be having headache every one bump. So as soon as that week was over, I went back and I was like, oh, I'm back, I'm fresh. But it did take a while with bumping to just get rid of those headaches afterwards. But as soon as that was over, then I was off. But I remember Stixx pointing out something once, which I wasn't aware of, but he mentioned me being a good trainee, and he says he remembers from early on, and we was doing flip bumps on crash mats, and he says I did it, but I didn't get. He says I wasn't happy with the flip bump, so I asked if I could do it again, and he says he never gets that. He says normally people just come in, they do it, and it's wrong, or they're not happy with it, but they'll just get back in line for the next person. And he said it really struck him when I said, "Oh, can I do it again?"
Yeah.
And he was really pleased, and he says that was a point where he realized she really wants this. She wants to do well, and I think I still have the message. Yeah. I think I still have the message where he sent it. So, because that's how much it meant to me that he saw me in that light. So I was a good trainee.
100%, and that obviously, has shone through in your years in the business. So when did you have your first match? Because I have it down that it was early 2018. Would that be about right?
The end of 2017.
Right.
Yeah, it was December 2017. I had my first match at House of Pain. Yeah.
What can you remember about that? Because a lot of people's first matches were, they're very, very nervous, and they might not have their ring gear sorted. They've had to kind of, piece things together, or they're so embarrassing moment happened where they trip down the stairs or something. I'm not asking you to say any embarrassing moments, but how was that first match? And kind of thinking back on it, is it something that you can look back on with pride, maybe?
Yeah, I loved it. I really loved my debut. It was an 8-woman tag, I think, or a 6-woman tag. So that's like, there was a lot of support in that match. And I'd been training with all of the girls quite regular who was in the match. So we was all very comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
And when we was like putting it together, we was all considering each other and the debuts, because I was one of 3 debuts in that match.
Wow.
So there was 3 of us, yeah. So I was really proud of it, and was all really happy after it.
Good.
Watching it back, it's a complete different story. I watched it back not long ago, actually, but yeah, it's all that matters is that we was very happy with it on the day.
Absolutely. We've had somebody reach out to us who's watching us on YouTube, and it's Spinebuster Media. I think you may know them. It says Kanji is so good to make music videos for, because she does so much cool and innovative stuff. The only challenge is fitting it all into one video. So that's Spinebuster Media that has reached out to us there with a pretty cool message. So thank you so much for watching and supporting Kanji with your music videos. So that's really, really cool. I want to take you to 2018 now, because through my research, that was a pretty kind of big year for you. It's a bit of a breakout year. So kind of early into your wrestling career, you said you had your first match towards the end of 2017. But I've got a list of names here of people that you took on through your first 6 to 9 months, say, you Zaya Brookside,
Yes.
Roxy, Nina Samuels,
Yeah.
Dominita, Emi Sakura, Nightshade, Kaylee Ray, Lana Austin, Charly Evans, amongst others. So within that certainly within your first year, easily, you were up against the very best in the country. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You hit the ground running with your career. Certainly 2018, you hit the ground running. It must have been a tremendous kind of thrill for you, but also a tremendous learning experience being up against some of them big names so early on in your career.
Yeah, it was a great experience. People say like, oh, you thrown into the deep end quite quickly. I think being thrown into the deep end, that makes sense if you were treated like one of the top dogs in the industry, but they'd never treated me like that. They treated me as someone who is just willing to learn and gain experience from. So every competitor I wrestled, like the likes of Zaya Brookside and Nina Samuels, Charly Evans and Emi Sakura, that was crazy. They all took me under their wing, and they really helped and supported me through the whole match. So I can't do anything but thank them for that and giving me such an amazing and great start to entering the great British independent wrestling scene. Because I feel like if I didn't wrestle them and they didn't treat me in that way, 100%, I don't feel like I would have had such a great experience and a great start to being on the scene like this anyway. So
absolutely,
I'm so thankful for all those women.
Yeah, and I just want to apologise if you can hear my dogs going crazy upstairs. I don't know what's happened, but kind of the world is falling apart for them upstairs. They're going absolutely mental. But you mentioned Emi Sakura, and your opportunity to, let's be honest, wrestle a legend from Japan, a legend of the women's wrestling scene. That must have been a thrill and an honour and an amazing experience for you to wrestle Emi.
It was. I can't believe it. I can't honestly, because the first time I wrestled her was at 3CW, and it was only, I think it was only like 2 days before the show I was asked. So I was like, oh my gosh, yes, 100%. This is crazy. So that was my first taste of wrestling someone who is trained in that Japanese style.
Yeah.
And that kind of set it all off for me. It's like, oh, I want to go to Japan now. But yeah, to wrestle like a legend, a Japanese legend, I was like, this is so big. Like, this is huge for me, who's not even been doing this for a year. And I'm in here with Emi Sakura. Like, that's crazy.
Mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. A real highlight for you that year for sure. But then there was Defiance. Towards the end of 2018, just like when you made your debut for Progress in the Thunder Bastard, and then you ended up becoming the Progress Women's Champion in Defiant. A very similar story. You went in on your debut, a women's gauntlet match with the vacant title on the line. Once again, some outstanding names that you were up against in your debut in that gauntlet match, and you overcame, and you became the Defiant Women's Champion on your debut. By this point, you were probably still within your first year of being a wrestler, but since making your debut as a pro wrestler. But another special moment, I suppose that was your first championship as well, I think. But tell us about that moment, your debut for Defiant and becoming their champion.
I was so scared because I was sharing the locker room for the first time with the likes of like Bea Priestley and Millie. So to be in a locker room and be in the same match as those women was so scary, because I just felt like I don't feel like I belonged, like I didn't really deserve or haven't earned my spot yet. So I kind of was very standoffish and kind of stayed out of the way of those. Not like they made me feel like that. I think I just put that in my own head, like I don't deserve to be here with how much they have done and how much they have worked, and I haven't even scratched the surface of what they've done. I kind of just put myself to the side a bit and just did what I was told to do.
Yeah.
Which I think was fine, I guess. I don't know if they respected that I just stayed out of the way. I don't really know. We haven't really spoke about it. But it was a super scary and
did you still feel like the newbie?
100%. I think that's why I was so scared.
Yeah.
But they didn't make me feel like that. I remember Millie being so nice and just funny and doing silly things like dances and things like that, which was really funny. So she made it very comfortable backstage, and Lana is amazing.
Yeah,
she's like the fun auntie for everybody, really. Lana is. I love her. And obviously I had the spot with Lana at the end, so I think I bonded quite a lot with Lana during the Defiant days. But I think I wasn't sure on the outcome of that match. And even like looking back now, I don't think the audience were very happy with it. Which makes it a bit of a sad story for me, or a sad memory to look back on. Well, it was out of my hands, I guess.
100%, absolutely. But we've had a lot of interest in your series of matches with Charly Evans. Now, I've got a couple of listener questions that have come through regarding Charly. Let's bring them up here. I apologise for not being as organised as I should be. But firstly, from Michael Jolly, friend of the show. You've had some incredible matches with Charly Evans. The 30-minute Iron Woman match, the 2 out of 3 falls, standing out for him. Could we see you in the ring with Charly in the future once you're medically cleared?
I hope so. I love her so much. I went to the Wrestling Resurgence show at the weekend, and I saw her for the first time since she went back home during COVID. So it's been maybe like a year and a half, I think, maybe 2 years. And as soon as she came in, I gave her like a huge hug and I started crying. I was crying because I haven't seen her for so long. But I think she's fantastic, and I would always ask to wrestle her, because she is. We always like say this thing that she's like my wrestling soulmate. So I always want to wrestle Charly. So any opportunity that we're on the same show, I'm like, oh my gosh, me and Charly.
Absolutely. And another question from Ashley Clements via Facebook. Are you looking to face Charly Evans again, maybe for the Resurgence title in the future? So she is the current Resurgence champion. Could be another bit of silverware around your waist, possibly in the future. But you just want that match against Charly again, don't you, really?
I would just love to wrestle her, yeah. Championship or not, I don't mind, as long as I get to wrestle her. I mean, when I watched her versus Cara, it just made me want to get in the ring even more last weekend. So 100%. Give me Charly Evans any day.
Absolutely. I've got another photo that I want to bring up here. And it was your NXT, your WWE tryout at the NXT UK Performance Centre. It must have been, I think it was back June 2019. And there's you with the amazing crop of female talent that attended that tryout. I think was it a 3-day tryout, Kanji?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I think initially it was meant to be 5, but then it went down to 3 days. Yeah.
Tell us about that tryout, and I'm guessing it's an amazing experience to be around all them fabulous coaches, the facilities, and you know the kind of the pressure of wanting to perform well and impress. But an amazing learning experience. But give us your kind of your thoughts and feelings thinking back to that 3 days in the PC.
I kind of went in with the mindset of just having fun and enjoying the experience to be around such an amazing group of women, as well as an amazing, fantastic group of trainers. I kind of didn't, I didn't want to put too much pressure on me for, as like, this is the opportunity that you have. I didn't want to put too much pressure on. So I kind of went in with the mindset of just have fun and enjoy it and appreciate the opportunity you've got. Just appreciate it. Don't see it as, you know, it's now or never. Because I think that's a very dangerous path to go down when you're in somewhere like that, because it can ruin so much of you, because you almost become someone that you are not. And I really didn't want to put that across, not just to the trainers or anything, but to the women I was with, because I'm going to be working with these women when we leave these doors. Like, they're the women that you're going to be around.
Yeah.
So I went in just to have fun, basically, and learn as much as I could. And I think it went really well. And I think a lot of the girls, I think maybe all of them, really went in with the same mindset, because we was all so supportive of each other and just wanted to make each other feel comfortable and at home. So it was great. It was really fun and an amazing learning experience.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, people always come away from these tryouts and experiences with so many memories and so much advice. Was there any advice that was imparted on you that kind of has stuck with you or resonated with you a couple of years down the line?
Yeah, so William Regal stayed with us a lot and gave his feedback on certain things all the time. And he was very into his, he loved talking about his character work, whether it's doing a promo or whether it is during a match, and always sticking with your character and who you are. But he always used to, he spoke a lot heavy on like personal tics that your character may have. And he had one where he used to do something with his mouth, because I think he said something happened during a match where he did something to his jaw and it made him talk a bit strange for a promo because of his mouth. And he was given feedback afterwards, say that works, that weird thing you're doing with your mouth. So he was pushing us to have something that is so personal to your character that you do. So it kind of makes you look at everybody and see what is my, like, what is Winona's tick, and then what is Kanji's tick. So it was things like that. And then in the ring, you bring it to the ring as well, and always just keep really focused on your facials, because that's what people look at, and that's it's your facial features and the emotions you create on your face, which tell the story a lot, rather than just everything your body and your voice is doing. But your face tells a whole new story in itself. So from then on, I was very aware of what my face was doing, which is great feedback.
Oh, so feedback from one of the best, as we all know, one of the best. But and then you took part in the battle royal, the #1 contenders battle royal at Download that summer. So it must have been kind of within a week or so of your tryout. I'm not sure, but another great experience, another kind of milestone in your fantastic career so far, being amongst all the NXT UK regulars like Piper Niven, Ginny. I know Ginny is a kind of a big inspiration of yours, and there was Jazzy Gabbert, Kaylee Ray, and all the other big names. Zaya Brookside as well, and you was in there with Rio. It was yourself and Rio from the tryouts. So the two of you were kind of giving a second tryout, you could say. But how was that to kind of wrestle in front of the Download fans? They can be known as, you know, raucous music fans, but I know there was a lot of wrestling fans there as well. But a great experience, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was. It was so fun just to be around the actual roster this time.
Yeah.
And you get a real good feeling for how TV works and how wrestling for TV works backstage as well, because we saw it all. It was all there. And that was the first time I met Shawn Michaels as well.
Wow. Dream come true.
Yeah, it was amazing. So just to be in there, wrestle, knowing that, oh my gosh, Shawn Michaels is watching me on a little screen backstage. I was like, I'm living the dream. It was amazing. Even though I only obviously did a little bit in the Rumble, but just to be a part of it was something very special. And then obviously to watch it back when it came on the network, I was like, wow, like that actually happened. And Shawn Michaels was there. Shawn Michaels.
No, it really was a great experience. Like you say, it was brief, but then just to be in a WWE ring,
Yeah.
on WWE TV, just absolutely phenomenal. But people have called you in the past the female Chris Ridgeway. I don't know if that's correct or not, but in 2019. You kind of went in there, had some intergender matches against the likes of, I've got a list here: Ricky Knight Jr., Gabriel Kidd, Brady Phillips, Desmond Xavier, and Chris Ridgeway, to name but a few. Some pretty amazing competition there. But as we've established, you're not one to kind of step away from, from a challenge. You like, fighting from underneath. But tell us about kind of going up against some of that amazing competition, and it must have given you some extra motivation being in the ring with some of that talent at the time.
Yeah, I think when I get put in matches with the likes of names like that, like even Gabriel Kidd and Xavier, and yeah, even Brady Phillips. I mean, I didn't have that match with Ridgeway, unfortunately, because
did he not go ahead?
I got injured just before, but I was in a it was like a scramble match, which
Yes.
Ridgeway was in there. So I did a little spot with Ridgeway in there. So I still have that. I have technically wrestled Chris Ridgeway. But yeah, I'm desperate to have that singles match with Ridgeway. So hopefully in this run I do, I get it finally. Because I asked for that match from Wrestling Resurgence. They asked me, who do I want to wrestle? And the first person I said, I was like, Chris Ridgeway. And there was like, better you than me. So I was so grateful for them to put that on. But obviously I got injured, so it didn't happen. So that's definitely one down the pipeline that I really want. Just because he inspires me so much, like his wrestling style and his attitude to wrestling is amazing. Like I love it. He just understands wrestling in a way that I don't think many other people do. So when I watch him in the ring, it's like I want to be that person. So which is why I said I'm the female Ridgeway, because I want to be Christopher Ridgeway.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Exactly. I mean, I have
the hell doesn't?
I have the Northwest Strong hoodie from 1310. So
there we go.
I technically am part of Northwest Strong.
And I hear they're recruiting, so you never know. We're going to be kind of wrapping up in the next 10 minutes or so with some listener questions or some more fan questions that have come in. But I've got to ask you a fairly general question about the women's division in the UK at the moment, because coming back out of lockdown 2021, I think you had some new talent come on board, some returning talent, but it combined to make probably one of the strongest women's division, kind of the UK combined, and probably the strongest the UK female division has ever been, to be honest with you. It must be exciting to be a part of that, because I think the women were being featured just as heavily as the men in 2021.
Yeah, I think with the women that are coming in, and not even the ones that have been here for a long time, but even the up and coming female wrestlers and the female talent, I think we're all kind of seeing it as this is a resurgence of women's wrestling, and we're here to do a job, and we're going to do it well. And we're going to take our spot because we've earned it, and we're going to work for it, and we are working for it. And we're kind of, this is why I really, really love Charly Evans and what she stands for, because her aim is to blur that line between women's wrestling and men's wrestling, because what really stuck out to me, what she said is, we refer to women's wrestling as women's wrestling, but when we refer to men's wrestling, it's just wrestling. And so why is that? And that really got me thinking, like, why do we say that? Why do we say women's wrestling and not men's wrestling? So she's her big aim right now is to blur that line between wrestling and women's wrestling, because we're just wrestlers, we're just talent, and that's it. And I think with what the girls are doing right now is we're really stepping up, but we're having to try harder than the guys. We're having to try harder than the male wrestlers, because we need to be recognized as wrestlers instead of just women wrestlers. And we've always been great. The women on the scene have always been amazing and fantastic. It's just that they were never recognized for it, because a lot of the guys, and there are women down the line that didn't recognize women's wrestling as, the same level as what the guys were doing, but they always were. It's just, it was a very popular opinion that stemmed from a long time ago. So I think the girls are trying so hard, and right now, obviously, I'm sat on the sidelines, and I'm so thankful and grateful for what these girls are doing right now. And I just stand there and watch it with awe, with the girls at Eve, what they've been doing for years and years. Like, I look at them, I think, you girls you're very special. And so I just can't wait to get back in there and join them. I really can't.
Absolutely. I'm sure they can't wait to kind of have you back. But we're going to throw it open to our listeners now. We've had quite a few that have reached out to us via social media over the last few days in anticipation for your appearance on the show. First of all, we got Adrian Lloyd via Facebook. He asks your favorite wrestler that you've been in a match with. Now, I know we spoke about a lot of your opponents through your career so far, but is there a favorite wrestler or two that really stands out as being your favorite that you've been in the ring with?
Oh, this is hard. I think, can I name more than one?
Yeah, go for it.
I think the first one I'm going to have to say is Charly Evans, because just hands down, I think she's one of the greatest ever. I also want to say Gisele, because I think she offers so much more than anything I expected. Also Visage, he's like someone that has helped me through everything. So I think he's one of my favorites that I just want to watch all the time, and I want to wrestle him all the time. And I want to say Gabriel Kidd as well. Gabriel Kidd.
Good shout out there. Some fantastic names, 100%. So we're moving to our next question from Jackson, from @JacksonHatch via Twitter. Your dream 4-horsewoman opponents. Obviously, we all know the 4-horsewomen back from the NXT days through to the WWE main roster. You've got Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch, of course. Have you got a dream opponent out of those 4? Who out of those 4 would you like to face in the future if you were given the opportunity?
I want to say Becky Lynch.
And is there a reason behind that?
When Becky Lynch was in NXT, I loved her. I remember in the early days of me training saying, I want to put the Becky Lynch's armbar on. And I had that as a finish at training in the very early days. So I think when I look back, and even now, when I watch myself and the fire ups I do, I think it's all inspired from watching Becky at NXT, because I remember in the early days of training that I just wanted to be Becky Lynch. I just wanted to be her. So I think a lot of what I do is unconsciously inspired by Becky Lynch. So I'd have to say Becky Lynch.
Great answer. Great answer. Our next question from Andrew Robert Moore. Will you challenge Alex Windsor to unify the Rev Pro Women's and your Southside Championship like they did with the Cruiserweight and Speaking titles for the men's heavyweight titles? So I'm not sure if there's any plans to unify the Rev Pro Women's and the Southside Championship. You are the kind of Southside Women's Champion, but Southside is no more, I believe. But how would you like to answer Robert's question there?
I would love to wrestle Alex Windsor.
That would be an incredible match.
Oh, I've been asking for it for so long. Like she came over and trained with us a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love her. Like she's incredible. And then when I go and watch Wrestle Carnival and I watch her at Wrestle Carnival, I was like, she's so good. Like give me Alex Windsor. So if we could do that at Rev Pro for the titles, I was like, oh, I promise you, we will make magic happen. I promise.
There we go. And there we go. The Queen of Southside there. Look at that. But if the management of Rev Pro are watching or listening, you've got to make it happen. Got to make it happen. Now, a question from somebody that you mentioned earlier that kind of got in touch with us via Instagram. Visage got in touch saying, is your finish still the Kanji dog? So is there a story behind this? And explain the story behind the Kanji dog.
Oh no, this is so horrible. He was in training, and he does the stratosphere where he goes to the top and brings down this Trish Stratus move, and then I do the bulldog off the rope that Trish Stratus used to do as well. And we was like, oh, we should come up with a name for it. And then I said, I don't know what I said. I said something, and then he turned around and says, we'll call it the Kanji dog. I was like, that's disgusting. Don't ever say that again. Because it just sounds so horrible. I was like, don't say that again. And so now he just keeps ribbing me about the Kanji dog.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I do want to say I'm very impressed with what you do use as a finisher. It's kind of like a tornado stunner, isn't it? Yeah. Have you got a name for that?
I don't know, which is really annoying because it was just one night I was thinking about how I could do a new move. And I came up with that. It was like 3 o'clock at night, and I was in bed, and I just came up with it. So I don't actually have a move. So like, I'm happy for suggestions to come out. I'm really happy for that.
For names for that move.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, if you're listening, then either get in touch with me or get in touch with Kanji. But that would be a hell of a move. Love it. Like I say, you that move, you really made your own. Certainly for Progress last year, and but we have a few more questions to rattle through. Matt Knight via Facebook has been in touch. When are you coming to TNT Extreme Wrestling up in Liverpool to challenge Alexis Falcon for the TNT Women's Championship? So people are trying to set up you with matches. They're matchmakers and bookers on this very podcast. But have you wrestled for TNT Extreme up in Liverpool before?
I haven't. No, but they're definitely on my radar.
100%.
So I'd love to, and I'd love to wrestle Alexis Falcon. I think she's great. I love her so much, and I think with what she's done and how she's progressed on Progress, I think it's really inspiring, and I'm so glad I've been a part to just watch her improve and just find herself even more during those tapings. So I'm really excited to see what she's offering now with an audience. So I would love to wrestle her, and with it being TNT, that's kind of like her home promotion as well. So I think that'll be great.
That would be a great match. There we go. And the final fan question that's come through, at least for now, Gary Ward has been in touch, the owner, the founder of Wrestle Carnival, of course, and the John's Podcasting Network sponsors Wrestle Carnival. When are you coming to play at the Carnival? And of course, you was meant to be in Curtain Call, their first show back in August. And of course, you kind of were not long off of your injury, of course. I think you was meant to have wrestled Gisele in one of the featured matches there. So hopefully we'll see you at Wrestle Carnival in 2022. Fingers crossed. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm so excited because it's been a long time coming. So I'm like, get me to Carnival.
Yeah. And I know you've been there and you've seen some of their shows because it's in Nottingham, of course. And Gary puts on a fantastic event. And Wrestle Carnival, I think it was voted by a couple of podcasts, at least last year, as the best new promotion in the UK. It definitely deserves it. Some great action there. But from what you've seen, Wrestle Carnival is a very exciting promotion on the UK scene.
I think so, yeah. I think it very much deserved that spot. I think every time I've gone to the Carnival show, it's been top matches with top talent on there. So, yeah, it's very exciting every time I go to a Carnival show. So I can't wait to go next time and I actually get to wrestle on them, be part of it.
Absolutely fantastic. Before we ask you to kind of reel off your socials, I've got one final question. Or if you've got a message for your fans, for your Kanji fans out there, because you've been out since August last year, and of course you like I say, you had to vacate the Progress Women's Championship, which we're all heartbroken over, especially after that amazing storyline with Gisele. But if you've got a message for your fans, who have supported you through thick and thin, what would you like to say to them?
Thank you. Honestly, it's been a crazy journey, not just with this first injury, but the last one I had as well. It's been so hard, but to see all the support and the response I've been given during this recovery process and during the last one, it's been quite overwhelming actually, and it's just made me feel like I can't wait to come back. And I'm really being careful with this time, and I'm really trying to work on my confidence and my mental state to make sure I come back the best I can and just to have a really good run, because I really want a good run this time. But the response I've seen and I've read from fans and everything online and everything, it's really kept me going. So I'm so excited to come back, and I hope that you just stick with me when I do, and just please be patient. Because it's so scary. Like, I'm so scared. It's crazy right now. I'm sat here and it's so scary just coming back, because I can't get injured again. I really don't want it. So I think however steady I take it at the beginning, please be patient with me. But I promise I'll be back better than ever. 100%. So I just honestly thank you for everyone's support.
100%. And from myself, I can't wait to see you back and hopefully wrestle kind of in the flesh very, very soon. But stay away from them lead pipes. And Gisele Shaw, when she's got, don't go anywhere near them lead pipes. I'm sure that's what did it. But before we let you go, Kanji, it's an opportunity for you to throw out your socials where we can say hi, learn more about Kanji, reach out to you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But where can we reach out and say hi to you?
I am on Twitter at Kanji Dooku, and I'm also on Instagram at Kanji_Dooku as well. I do have a Facebook account, but I'm not on it as much as Twitter and Instagram. So they're the best platforms to reach me on. And I'm very active as well. I'm responsive.
Super. But Kanji, it's been amazing speaking to you for the last nearly an hour and a quarter. It's absolutely flown by, like all of these interviews do, but it's been great getting to learn more about you and talk about your fantastic career. And from myself, I can't wait to see you kind of back fit in a ring again and doing what you do best. But just want to thank you for coming on the show today.
No, thank you for having me. It's been great. I've really loved it. So thank you. And thank you for everyone's questions as well.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of fun with that. But Kanji, thank you very much.
Thank you.